Thank you for joining us this evening for SAP Student User Group. Okay, so we have there are many announcements today, and we also have a graduate student association have a couple of announcements, and then followed by we have a Rockwell call-in speakers, and then we're going to end with it. So let's get started. So we have a 3M Information Forum on October 9th, 6:15 in Park Library in the auditorium. Okay? So all IS, IT majors or minors or anyone with SAP experience or any from finance and accounting can join the session. And then we also have ERP SIM competition. Registration page is available online. I'm going to show you quickly. Here we go. Let's get started with SAP Student User Group. So SAP Student User Group, as you see here, now we have more than 200 students registered for SAP Student User Group, and then we projected more that it's going to be 250 by spring 2015. And we are the largest student organization in College of Business. Okay, first things first here, sign up early. So if you're not yet signed in to the SAP Student User Group, you can use this link to sign in. And if you're not yet paid, so you can pay before November 1st so that you can get your polo shirt. So we also have a sign-in sheet for ASIP meetings, one for Chicago and Lansing. We're going to send you the detailed information about how you can register for this events, and that's only for the paid members. Well, we also updated our social media networks, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I'm going to show you how to log into those and then take advantage of SAP User Group. We're also documenting all our meeting videos, so if you miss any of the meetings, so you have an opportunity to go check our website and watch the videos. And then I have to personally thank Shravani, so she is taking care of all collection of the video and organizing them on the website. So let me quickly take you to the SAP website. So you just need to type sapua.cba.cmh.edu. So it's going to take you to our home page. Down here, click on SAP Student User Group. And then we have Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So if you click on the Facebook page, you can register here and just connect to the group. And then we also have a LinkedIn page. And down here, if you want to watch the old meeting videos, just click here. It's going to take you right here page. You have a flyer. So just click on any one of these meetings. Then it's going to take you to our YouTube channel where you can watch all the meeting videos. Okay, now I request the Graduate Student Association members to make their announcement.
Thank you. We're from graduate level Graduate Student Association, and basically our purpose of this group is to help grow students professionally, develop professionally, help them get a job, basically. Just do a lot of different things we can do to help them in the professional environment, and help them to get to know their peers, a lot of different things like that. And I usually talk about the goals of our group. Okay.
Thanks, Arpan. So like Arpan said that, see, most of us are international, so you guys always need to think that how can you outperform yourself in, from rest of the others. So this is one group that we see that can help you achieve that. We still have open positions, so if you guys are really interested to get to know more about it, just talk to us after the presentation. And as Arpan said, that we were going to have professional development events all around the semester. we're going to be in touch with the career services and see what we can come up with you guys and try to coordinate with the professors and other people who have really good professional experience so that they can conduct resume workshops or, you know, conduct mock interview workshops or anything like that. Also, we're gonna try to get companies here, hopefully by the next semester. So it's a good opportunity for you guys, you know, to get involved with this organization and, you know, talk to the companies and, you know, make a mark of yourself. Also, we were gonna have, you know, fundraising activities, community service. So, well, it can be a good platform for you guys.
Right now we're like beginning stage. You see earlier how SAP's group was like, membership was down. Right now is our first semester, so we're continuously grow. Right now we have 109 members, which is quite a bit for starting off. So I mean, there's a lot of people there to help you out and help you learn. Because we're basically going to help each other out to grow in different ways. We're going to get experts to come and try to like teachers, like for example, like help build our resume, help us with interviews. There's many different things we can do with that. If you got any questions about this at all, we're to answer these questions. All right, well, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you for the time.
The last announcement for today is the ERP Sync competition. So if you guys want to know more about ERP Sync competition and if you want to register, just click on the ERP Sync competition. Or you can also do right from here. And just click on this flyer. It's going to take you to the registration page. Okay? Wow. Well, thank you. So I invite Dan to take over. And
thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm Dan Hellerstedt. I'm with Rockwell Collins. I'm actually a graduate of Central Michigan. I graduated in 2006. And I've been with Rockwell Collins since I graduated, so for the last 8 years, for you math whizzes. Me, I'm not that good at math. I was never good at ABAP, I was never good at math, and I was never good at finance. But now I deal with SAP, I know how to read ABAP, and I'm on the finance team with Rockwell Collins. So, you know, doesn't always work out like you expect, but you've got to make the best of it. And I'm really happy with where I'm at. So if you don't know anything about Rockwell Collins, let me just start with a little teaser video. And this is one our marketing group came up with a couple years ago. We have audio.
I'm Jim.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Donnie.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day I'm building integrated systems to help our customers complete their mission.
I'm building a more secure product.
I'm building a reputation for reliability.
I'm E.
I'm Gina.
I'm Tom.
Every day.
Every day I'm building ways for NATO forces to communicate.
I'm building a way to keep our soldiers safer.
I'm building more ways to give pilots the information they need.
I'm Delroy.
I'm Donna.
I'm Riven.
Every day.
Every day I'm building in the global office.
I'm building a reputation for exceeding expectations.
Every day I'm building a smarter and more powerful workforce.
I'm Vishal.
I'm Roger.
I'm Todd.
Every day.
Every day
Every day I'm building a better way to train pilots.
I'm building the kind of company I want to do business with.
I'm building state-of-the-art avionics.
I'm Woody.
Shelley.
P.
Every day.
Every day I build quality products.
I'm building a more reliable international supply chain.
Every day I'm building better ways for airlines to manage information. I'm Alex.
I'm Jane.
I'm Greg. Every day I'm building ways for pilots to see what they can't see.
Every day I'm building more efficient manufacturing processes.
I'm building weather radar that makes the invisible visible. Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day at Rockwell Collins.
I'm building trust.
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 I'm building trust.
I'm building trust.
Every day at Rockwell Collins.
I'm building trust.
Okay, so that's a short video about Rockwell Collins. How many people know what Rockwell Collins does from that video? Oh, pretty good. Okay, so you've all heard me speak before. So Rockwell Collins is an aerospace and defense contractor. And so one of the primary products we build is the navigation systems for commercial aircraft and for government aircraft. And part of that system is ground-to-air communication, air-to-air communication, and air-to-troops communication. So a lot of what we do is in communication. So a little bit about myself. So I am from Central Michigan, so fire up chips. I spent 8 years out in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where Rockwell Collins is based. In that time, I moved around from the quality management areas of SAP to the service and asset management areas of SAP, and now I'm currently in the finance area of SAP. So if you guys want a job real fast, go into SAP Finance. There's always somebody looking. But you gotta love it. You really have to. So some of the current projects that we're working on is we just aim to deal with SAP and SuccessFactors, which is a human resource management tool to help manage everything from a new employee starting to an employee leaving to planning around when that employee is going to be ready for the next position, when the employee that's exiting will have a support team to fill that void when that employee leaves. So it's all around that, and it's a lot like Salesforce.com in the fact that it's a cloud solution, so you don't have to keep anything on site. The other thing that I'm currently involved with, which is a little non-SAP, but I think it's good for you guys to hear, is we have a small sliver of our business that deals with aftermarket parts. So think of it like a junkyard for airplane parts. So the planes come in and there might be something wrong with them. Maybe they've been through a hailstorm and they're no good at flying anymore. We'll buy those planes, tear them all apart, take out all the good pieces, and then resell them. And for that particular business unit, we decided not to go with SAP. Now, you guys probably don't like to hear that since this is the SAP user group, but that is the reality. Not everything runs on SAP. With that said, the skills that you guys are getting with your SAP exposure with a group like this is the best that you can get. SAP is still the benchmark for an ERP system. So when we decided to go with this additional ERP called Quantum, everybody knew what SAP was. And when we walked in there and we said we have SAP, everybody said, oh, good, then you guys will be fine with this. You guys understand. So we've got an upgrade to our Quantum ERP coming soon, so it's a smaller part of our business. And then the interesting piece of it is, so we decided to go with this Quantum ERP system, and now we've been running on it for almost a year. Now we need to get the data out. So we have our system up and running, we have transactions going on in it, but we really can't do anything with that data because it doesn't look like any of our other data, and it's not in a usable form. So Quantum's really great for transactional, and it'll get the daily job done, but we can't make any strategic business decisions off of that data. So we're putting all of our Quantum data into SAP BI. So if you guys can get exposure, if you can look and feel and touch with SAP BI, that's the place to go, because there's a number of companies that are on Quantum and other ERPs that are looking for ways to put their data into SAP BI, and that's really where a lot of the SAP areas are growing, and I'll talk about that in just a second here. A couple of my past projects, we did 4 alignments. I did 4 alignments. We've done, in the last 8 years, we've done probably 15 alignments. Now, what I call alignments is Rockwell Collins has decided to acquire other businesses because they fit our portfolio. So they might be a radio manufacturer in Calexico, California. They might be a heads-up display manufacturer. Kind of like GM has a heads-up display for their cars. This is like Top Gear. The pilots put their visor down, and then everything appears on the visor in San Jose, California. So we decided to procure companies like that, and in doing so, we wanted to integrate them into the Rockwell Collins family, and part of that is an SAP alignment. So we went through, I've gone through 4 SAP alignments, but we've had them all over the world. We've had them in England, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, France, and then Mexico. And I think the next one that might be coming up is Brazil, which would be really cool. Quantum alignment, that was last year. Enterprise corrective action, that's something that's near and dear to our heart, to our company's heart. And we've always had trouble with this. And I think a lot of companies are now too. GM is not to harp on them, but they're going through this exercise now with identifying quality issues, bringing them forward, and really trying to focus on quality as the number one goal. So a couple of years ago, we ran into a similar quality issue, and so we developed an enterprise corrective action tool, built it in SAP, and shared some of that with SAP. So that SAP has actually applied some of that as their basis. Rotables and Web Portal Shop. This is one where we got a little crazy. We bought SAP's portal for online merchandising, but a lot of the product we sell is business to business. So an online eBay type experience is not really suitable for business to business, but we went there anyway. We tried it out. We call that failing fast. So that was a nice one there. And then most notably, over the last year, we've had a new CEO, and with that new CEO, we've gotten Google Apps for Business. And how many of you have used Google before? Yeah, most of you. Okay, so let's see. So that's there's a couple of different reasons for a company to do something like that. One is all of you guys are potential future employees. And how many of you have used Lotus Notes? Not as many as Google. So if we can get tools in our house that you guys have had experience to, that makes that transition as a new employee that much easier. So that's part of the reason. Actually, the real driver is mobile connectivity. So it is a mobile world. I'm a mobile employee, and so it really kind of puts a new paradigm on how we look at our work-life balance, which is one of the pillars of Rockwell Collins. So technology, Rockwell Collins is heavily invested in technology in the SAP landscape. Now, I did mention we tried out another ERP. We like it so far, but there's data issues, so it's not really ideal for the entire enterprise. So Rockwell Collins is huge, it's global, and this business unit is only in the United States. So having Quantum as a global solution for a company as large as Rockwell Collins just doesn't work. But SAP does, and so we've invested heavily in SAP. You can see here, this is my SAP logout screen. I just took a snapshot of it today. So all of these are the different systems, whether it's live production or live development or test. We have quite a few. So navigating that landscape, that environment, can be tricky. But we do have on-site ABAP developments. We are heavily invested in ABAP. How many have taken the ABAP class? Good. I like to see it. Now, when I was here, I hated ABAP. I didn't like it. I didn't understand the language. I still don't necessarily like the language. but it's a key part of my job, and when I do understand it and I do see and read the language, I'm really glad that I took the ABAP class. So if you haven't taken it, definitely take it. If you have taken it and you don't like your grade, I'm sorry, but I didn't like mine either. You should take it again, because eventually it'll kick in and it'll make sense.
So you're not writing code, though? When you're
I'm
saying
not
you're
writing
using it
code.
In your day-to-day job, you're not writing it.
I'm not. In my day-to-day job, I work between the business customer and the developer, and I help bridge that gap. So I have to take the needs of, and I say needs because it's not wants, it's needs. Take the needs of the customer and then decompose those into something that the developer can use. Now, a lot of that is the upfront work. The back end work comes in testing that out, making sure it meets the requirements, making sure everything fits together correctly. And sometimes you have to get in and really debug the code and understand how the blocks are put together to understand what the problem is and communicate that effectively. So I think ABAP is a key part to this role. So investing in technology, we're heavily invested in the BW landscape. I think if they offer a product, I think we buy it. We just recently inked a deal with HANA, or with SAP for the HANA technology, which is going to give us a little bit more real-time data and a lot more flexibility with some things that we're doing. We actually have SAP coming on site in 2 weeks to Cedar Rapids. They're going to have a couple experts fly in, sit down with our employees, spend a whole day with us, and teach us about some of these new technologies, tell us how we can use that to solve our current business problems, and then give us kind of a path forward on some of these things. So SAP doesn't do that for all companies. They don't do that for everybody. They haven't done that for the last 8 years that I've been working with them. So this is a really big milestone for us from a technology standpoint. How many people have... Yeah.
Are you looking at HANA for like VW kinds of things?
Yep.
Or for, okay. I was wondering if there's like an MRP issue and you're looking for ERP in memory.
That might be something we talk about. We do have, actually, did anybody see the Wall Street Journal today? I don't expect anybody to raise their hands. I got it for free, but...
At the hotel?
Yeah. But in the Wall Street Journal today, I'll show you a picture in a little bit. I took a picture with my phone. Basically, it came down to, this text chat and forth between a boss and an employee, and it said, how come the upgrade is taking so long? And he said, well, we're running SAP, and then he replied back, well, I bet you're tired. And he said, yeah, you're darn right I'm tired. We're running SAP. And he goes, oh, stupid autocorrect. I meant to say you're fired. So so the takeaway was, if you run SAP, whoever made that decision should be fired. I don't necessarily agree. There's a lot of things that can cause that. We do have some MRP performance problems. So we plan a ton of our business, the majority of our business in SAP. We plan the majority of our manufacturing in SAP. And it does take MRP to run a long time, and can take 3 days in some cases. So that might be something that we look at. How many people have heard of Fiori? Oh,
we are actually doing a Fiori intro in our ABAP classes.
Wonderful. Do you have any openings?
Come on in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's opensap.com.
Okay.
Have you gone to that one?
I have not.
So OpenSAP right now, they've got one of them MOOCs, them multiple online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever. We'll talk later.
Okay, good, perfect. So we, so along with the HANA thing, we also decided that we're going to do more with Fiori. So kudos to you guys for knowing what it is and kind of getting your hands in there. If you can get exposure to that, that's something awesome, because I think a lot of companies are going to be going to that. Really, the major things that we have going on this year from an IT perspective is mobility is number one. And then beyond that, there's reduce maintenance and system performance and that kind of thing. But mobility is absolutely number one, and that goes across the platform. So we're looking at, so we've already got the Gmail step. We went in there. We're doing more with Wi-Fi and having people bring their own devices and connectivity that way. This year is really going to be focused on SAP and bringing some of those features in, so time charging and things like that. And so we've got a lot more cloud solutions that are coming forward. We've got a lot more internal Fiori type solutions, so that wherever you are, if you've got an internet connection, you can do your job. It doesn't matter if you're in Cedar Rapids at your workstation or at home on your iPad or in the plane, connected to the Wi-Fi in the plane. It doesn't matter. You should be able to work from everywhere. WebDIN Pro is another technology that we are heavily invested in. We run a lot of applications in that. That's a really nice tool to be able to push our user interface forward. I think that's gonna eclipse to the Fiori that's coming up here. Along with NetWeaver Business Client, we've got a big project right now to pull that together. I think once Fiori comes along, I'm hoping that we'll be able to see a big black and white difference between the cost of doing those bottom two solutions versus doing something in Fiori. It really takes a lot of time to develop the UI in these bottom two solutions. So, now that we've talked a lot about Rockwell Collins from an IT perspective, this is Rockwell Collins from a corporate perspective. So Rockwell Collins is a pioneer in aerospace and defense. One of our main claims to fame was doing the audio communication for the first man on the moon. So that was all Rockwell Collins, actually Collins Avionics at the time equipment. Currently, we're operating in 60 locations, 27 countries, 19,000 employees. So if you can think of switching email over for 19,000 employees in one day, that was a pretty big accomplishment. Our business is really based on the commercial and government markets. So we've got 61% of our sales in government systems. So that's looking at your surface-to-air communication, looking at ground troop communication. So we do a lot with GPS, iPhone-style, military-grade GPSs for the troops on the ground. We also do something called the Iron Dome. Has anybody heard of that? It's kind of in the news lately. They have it in Israel. We do a lot of systems for that solution. So not only us, but we partner with a lot of other companies to help develop that solution to kind of protect the folks in Israel. Commercial, 39% of our sales there, and then this year we're at 4.6 billion in revenue, so that's pretty solid. This year is down a little bit from an investor standpoint, but when you dig into it a little bit more, these guys don't. We just acquired another company that was about half our size, so it was a major investment from a financial standpoint, and that company had some debt with it. So it's coming around, and there's a lot of integration to do. Rockwell Collins is on SAP. That other company is on PeopleSoft. So we've got a big decision ahead of us. Do we keep them on PeopleSoft? Do we merge them together? We really have to think about it strategically and what makes the most business sense. So how are we organized? Government systems, commercial systems. That's engineering and manufacturing type areas. So we do a ton of research and development. We do a ton of engineering. Think of it like Apple is constantly releasing patents, even for stuff that they don't necessarily build into their products. We do the same kind of thing. We're constantly engineering, designing, releasing patents, trying to get as many patents as we can, and then integrating them into our products where it makes sense. So government and commercial systems, a lot of engineering, huge engineering. We do almost $1 billion in research and development just in technology in these spaces. International and service solutions, that's the business unit that I'm most closely associated with. So again, that aftermarket used plane area. Also anything that is international, so Brazil, New Zealand, all of those locations have special needs versus the domestic locations. Then we've got shared services, and you can see e-business is one of those. So when Rockwell Collins first started, it was Collins Radio. Then it became Rockwell Collins in 2001 when we went with our IPO. And every one of these different organizations had their own e-business group. And so you can think about how ineffective that is and how crazy that becomes to manage. One of the greatest things that we did is become a shared service. And you guys might see that in other companies that you work for or have an internship with, that you have kind of a shadow IT or maybe even a full-fledged IT for each business unit. So one of the efficiencies that we got on board with after doing some Six Sigma and some Lean training is to have some shared services that can be basically spread or shared across the other business units, and that has helped us a lot. It's really given me a unique experience because I've got a broad spectrum of what the enterprise is doing, where the business unit that comes to me is only looking at their area of expertise. So they don't know if commercial systems comes to me, they don't know what government systems doing. And they don't know that government systems just came to me and asked for something very similar. So we get the two folks in the room, and we start hashing it out, and we come up with one solution instead of spending our time making two solutions. We're located all over the world, and here's some of our history here. So going back to 1933, that's when Art Collins founded Collins Radio, and since then we've had quite a few great things. 2001, that's where Rockwell Collins stood as its standalone company, and then just last year we got a new CEO, and he's been doing great, and everybody's really happy he's here. A couple of our accolades. One of the things Rockwell Collins prides himself on is the work-life balance. So Rockwell Collins is located in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and it's the city of 5 smells. No, seasons. Actually, there is 5 different smells there because there's a pet food company, a cereal company, and a couple other companies that release pleasant or unpleasant smells throughout the week. But it's actually, they call it the city of 5 seasons, and the 5th season being quality of life. And so Rockwell Collins prides himself on the work-life balance. So they allow folks like me to work for the company from Lansing instead of Cedar Rapids. Great. So a couple of our core competencies is integrated systems and mobile platforms. So you can kind of get an idea from the pictures there. This is what our stuff looks like right here. And so a lot of times we refer to them as boxes, but really, it's kind of more or less like the CD player in your car. You pop that out, you pop it back in. That's kind of how these things are on the tanks and aircraft. You slide them out, slide it back in, and then you can go again. So try to build it modular, try to build systems, and keep it all together. I wish I could blow these up a little bit because some of these are really cool. So these communication and situational awareness diagrams are really, really interesting. So from a communication standpoint, we also do, since we do government product, we also do police cars, fire, search and rescue, the water rescue, Coast Guard, there we go. So they actually use technology that's kind of similar to this, but less military grade. where they can communicate with police cars, helicopters, and ambulances and fire, and folks walking around on the ground to build a situation and contain that or control it if they need to. Flight controls, so we beyond just the interactive technology in the cockpit, we do some actuators. We do the levers that lift and drop the flaps and that kind of thing. Information management. Now this is one area that we're just starting to get into. How many have heard of EDI? Okay, a couple. So EDI is really kind of the backbone for business-to-business communication. So whether you're in avionics or whether you're in manufacturing, chances are a company like the big three will have an EDI connection to their top tier suppliers. And so when they need a product, they'll put it into their system and they'll hit submit. That product will jump onto the EDI backbone. It's kind of like the internet. That backbone will create a direct communication with that supplier, and then that supplier will receive that order directly into their system. So the beauty of it is you have one person typing in the order. The person receiving the order doesn't have to type anything. They just click accept, or they click, they type in the price, and then they hit accept, and it triggers an email, a notification back to the person who requested it. Information management is one area that we got into just this year. We actually bought one of the EDI suppliers that's big in the aerospace and defense market, and so that's going to be something that's coming for our company. So when you think you're going to fly somewhere, and you pull up your Delta app on your phone, well, all of that communication behind the app is happening on one of these EDI backbones. So we've got Delta communicating with the plane, with the airport, with maybe your travel agent. We have a corporate travel company that kind of manages all that stuff. So all of that is happening in the background. That's a big area for us. The second part of that is much like Google, mining that data. How are people using it? How can we offer something that would beat our competition based on how folks are using it? So mining that data, we get into the BW landscape, and then owning that data and possibly reselling it. So if somebody, if a company comes to us with an idea for maybe a new iPhone app and they want to buy some data, there's a great opportunity to make a little bit of money on the side. Cabin management, so these are going to be aircraft like Oprah has. She's got 9 airplanes that we service in our international and shared services. Simulation, so this is a big one that we got into the last probably 4 years. But basically, if you've watched the Big Ten Network in the last couple of weeks, Toyota has this commercial where these people are in a simulator and they're driving down the simulated road. We do the same thing. We have the same kind of simulators. We manufacture them, and we sell them to folks like Boeing and Airbus, folks that need to train pilots in order to fly the planes. So we do a lot with simulators. It's really kind of a cool business. Then services, along with information management services. So you have high-profile people that need to travel, and they need to do it quickly and efficiently, and we have a service to meet their needs. So they can buy their service from us. I'm not saying that Oprah buys her service from us, but she could. So anyway, the idea is it's kind of like Uber in that aspect. So you can pick up the phone, or you can use your app, and you can say, I want to fly from Dallas to New Delhi at 6 p.m. tonight. Well, it's already past 6, but at 9 p.m. tonight. We can have a plane ready and waiting with a pilot and fully stocked fridge and whatever amenities that you request within half hour, 45 minutes, whenever you want to fly. If that's built into your contract, that's something that we provide. So Rockwell Collins, vision, values, goals, vision. One of our main values and vision is building trust every day. So the great thing about that statement is it can be used on every level. So obviously it makes sense for our sales folks to build trust with our customers, but it also makes sense for our manufacturing line to build trust with our customers. Making sure that we have high quality, making sure that we're doing the best we can and we're releasing the best product we can helps build that trust. Building trust between the different business units, so between finance and engineering. So engineering trusting that finance has it right, finance trusting that engineering isn't lying to them. It cuts right to the bone of an organization. So really building trust is what our main principle is, and I think you can apply it at any level. We have something called Rockwell Collins University. So this is all built on the SAP LMS platform. So this is all in SAP. We have all these modules that you can see here, and basically what it is like it's like an internal university. So we've got training, mandatory training in there. We've got training for professional development. We've got training for technical skills. So anything that an employee needs to get started, get the ball rolling, and then move to the next level, you can find in there, and that's growing every day. Mentoring is a big thing at Rockwell Collins. So we have a mentoring portal. And within the first year of your full-time employment, we try to assign you with a mentor and really decide, help you decide where you want to go. So you got your foot in the door. Maybe you don't love what you're doing at the time, but you got your foot in the door, and we'll help you get to where you want to go. So then, as part of that work-life balance, we've got a total portfolio package. So we do offer tuition reimbursement, which is something that I took advantage of, and I absolutely love it. I haven't looked back. I was able to get my master's degree through the University of Iowa. It was right down the road, and it was a great opportunity. I think in total I paid around $25 because I had to pay for the graduation fee. That one, oddly enough. Employee stock purchase plan. You can purchase the company stock at a discounted price. Pretty good deal. And then 401k savings. This is actually kind of cool. This vacation here. So starting, you get. Hold on one second. Yep. You get 3 weeks, but then the company. It's not really mentioned here. You actually get 4 weeks because the company shuts down between Christmas and New Year's every year, and so nobody works, and you don't take vacation, and you just don't go to work. So, but you still get paid. So it's a great deal. And then we have a pretty good dental and vision plan. All that stuff is changing now. It's still very good, but it's really, and you're going to find that with any company you look at nowadays. But it's really changing a lot, given the health care.
If you're a junior or a senior who maybe has a year left after this,
right,
and you get hired in as an intern at Rockwell, right, and you wanted to knock some summer classes up, can you use the tuition reimbursement?
No, you have to be a full-time employee.
You can.
Yes.
Awesome.
So, applying for a job, go to careers. I'll be here on Friday, so you guys can just talk to me then. Any questions? That was a good question. You got me. I didn't know. How many folks are graduating in December? Excellent. Okay. How many folks are graduating in May? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I had a quick question. You mentioned the Enterprise Corrective Action Tool.
Yes.
How exactly does that work to ensure quality?
The Enterprise Corrective Action Tool is something that anybody who can get into SAP, so we've got probably, out of the 19,000 employees, 15,000 can probably get into SAP. Anybody can go in and assign you a corrective action from anywhere. So, you know, you can do anything from, hey, you left coffee on the counter when you filled up your cup, you goof, and then sign you a corrective action to never do it again because, you know, I got my sleep wet. So you can do anything from that to, hey, we really have an issue with tin whiskers. So tin whiskers is a manufacturing term when you've got too much static electricity around the soldering point. So what happens is the solder, when it connects, it actually fizzes out. So it makes the connection, fizzes out, and then that fizz of solder can cause arcing on a board and can be a big deal. So you can do anything from a very, you know, trivial thing to a very technical, complex, hard to solve thing. And I think it's helped a little bit our quality, but I think the usability isn't quite where it needs to be. So I think that's where the Fiori thing, if we can get, think of it like this: if it's on the top of the stack, it's easy to do. If you have to dig through a desk and dig through a drawer to find it, it's not going to be your first choice. And so I think that's where usability really comes in to making some of these things more successful. Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you guys for having me. Sure. Do you guys want to come up and talk about your experience? I know you guys called me one day. Actually, Tom, do you want to come up and just kind of talk? And you guys can talk about what you're doing this school year. Because you guys kind of got a really unique opportunity. So these guys came in over the summer and well, I don't know, tell me how you're doing.
Yeah, sure. I was brought to Rockwell. I was in the finance and controlling group with Dan, actually. And I got put on quantum also. So I worked under Dan most of the time. And I did a lot of reporting with Crystal Reports. I learned some SQL at it while I was at it.
So what are you doing now?
Oh, I'm working remotely here, part-time. Still working with Crystal Reports and Quantum. I'm getting into SAP BI. Yeah.
Good. Okay. So one of the things that we were able to do with Tom is, and we did it last year with Lily, is we were able to extend our internship if they were interested beyond the standard summer internship on site. So what we did is we gave them a laptop, set them back here. They can go to classes. They can have their weekends here. They can spend time with their family. And then during their off time, their free time when they're not sleeping and eating and going to class, they can work. Now, the work is really flexible, whatever you can manage during the week, and that's great. But it's not like, hey, it's 24/7. It's a really good opportunity to continue building that experience in SAP or in Quantum as it might be. We're getting you in SAP. We're getting it. And then still being able to go to class and continue your education. In my opinion, it sure beats dishwashing, which is what I
I want to start off with saying Rockwell Collins is a great company to work for. I had a lot of fun over the summer working for them. They have workouts in place to keep the body healthy. That's important to me, so I like that aspect of it. what I did there, I worked with their warehouse and data solutions, or master data department, and I worked with their business users and gathered requirements, and then I worked with the developer to carry out those functional specs for the developer to develop it.
And I was on the quality warehouse and inventory team, and some cool things I got to do was when I started off, they were making a new receiving of inventory solution on SAP, and I got put in charge of actually testing the new solution for some plants that couldn't show up, so plants from California, plants from Oregon, but people in the testing room with me, I had people from Texas, sitting next to me, I had people from down in Florida, down in California, and then I got to be on the phone with people from France, England. So that was a pretty cool experience within the first couple of weeks getting exposed to all of that. Then I also worked a lot with functional specifications and getting put on a lot of different projects and getting to go to a lot of different meetings and seeing how a lot of different areas of the business works, and then putting those into SAP specifications was cool. And then some of the cool things that they did were they held a lot of intern events, so you could get to meet a lot of the other interns. A lot of the interns are engineers, so you meet a lot of really smart people that know a lot. And they keep all the interns at this local university, so it's almost like living at an apartment or in a dorm like here, so you get to hang out with people your age all the time and get to do fun stuff. I mean, some of the few cool things we got to do was they have a minor league baseball team there, so Rockwell got us tickets.
2 or 3 times.
Like 3 times for free to go to the game. We got to go to a PGA Tour event, which was close by, being held by John Deere's with their head, so that was cool.
We also had like an intern event where like all the interns got together and we played like kickball and stuff like that, just to fraternize with other interns. That was really nice.
Yeah, it's a really cool company to work for. You can definitely tell they care about their employees, and I was actually, you can tell how the people really enjoy working for the company, and you get to meet a lot of cool people from a lot of different places.
The work culture there is pretty laid back.
Yeah.
Everyone is so nice.
Yeah. It's definitely if you're interested, I definitely recommend it. It's a very cool company.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question for you real quick, man. Do you know how many interns you're looking to hire this summer?
I don't know how many for this summer yet.
There was 10.
There was
10 last summer.
Alone in the e-business department, I think there's probably about 15 interns. About 15 interns. I'd say at least 10 or 11 of those interns were from Central. And we got to meet people in charge of SAP, obviously, and go around and introduce ourselves. And he even said, "Wow, like there's a lot of you from Central, so they know that."
You guys have to do a presentation at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. How did that go?
That was really nerve-wracking having like a senior manager sit at a table with you and ask you kind of what you did. But it was really nice and kind of just laid back. They changed it from having to do a PowerPoint presentation to more of just kind of talk to them for 5 to 10 minutes about what you did, what you learned, and then he would ask you questions and see what you learned. So
mine was a little different from theirs. I just sat like directly down with my director, and we had a discussion. And I had a little PowerPoint, but most of it was just a discussion of what I did. And he wanted to know what my experiences, what I liked about it, and what I didn't like.
I was also on a project team, so my team met with PwC for about 3 days straight for the whole day, and that was crazy how much knowledge just transferred back and forth, the requirements, and all the other stuff. It was great.
Oh, and one other thing they do, like you do, is they let you tour all the manufacturing facilities, which is really cool to go and watch people making all of these like airplane radios. And since I was on the warehouse team, I got a shipping tour, and I knew everyone who's taken 301 here. I got to actually see the sales process, and so I got to see the sales, the purchase orders, everything, how it works, actually go through the entire cycle. And so really cool seeing the parts they have. I was actually the shipping tour guy. They had this, I'd say, a wall probably about 4 times the size of this room with inventory all the way up, and they had a machine that would type in the button or type in the number, and it'd go up and bring it back down. And then he took it out, handed it to me, and he's like, so here's just like one of the things we make, and he's like, that what you're holding right there is like $70,000. And I was like, whoa. So yeah, it was really cool that they let interns just go in and kind of learn how they do stuff, but yeah, so cool talk.
Do you ever have any questions for us?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Okay, on behalf of SAP Student User Group, we thank Rockwell Collins, Dan, and especially the summer interns for sharing their experiences. So we have Dow Chemicals coming the next week, the next Wednesday, 15th October, 6:30 p.m. here in this ground hall. But we have QR codes available for you to connect us through the Facebook page and also the LinkedIn page. And I would strongly recommend you sign in here. So it might be useful for a class attendance for Professor McBride's class. So make sure that you sign in these sheets whenever you come in and take advantage of our social network. And once again, I thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night.